Hey everyone, and welcome to this month's TBR. Hopefully this time I won't get interrupted by gunshots. So I went through my shelves and picked out the books that I'm currently wanting to read the most. I'm going to be doing a separate video of my library current checkouts, and that's going to be kind of like a supplement in sorts to my monthly TBRs. So for the most part, this is just going to be the books I own that I want to read. So there are going to be some library books because I want to include my manga and graphic novels, but those are on my radar to read anyways. I'm going to read them. Some other library books I'm just going to do in a different video because I'm currently filming this on a Friday. It's going to go up probably early in the week, but I'm filming this on a Friday, but tomorrow on a Saturday I'm going to go to the library and I'm going to probably get more books. I'm going to return a whole bunch and then probably get some more books anyways. So let's get into the books that I want to read. I picked out 3 novels and then 1 manga that I own. The rest are from the library. So I'm going to talk about the novels first and then get into the graphic novels and manga. So the first book on my TBR for this month is one I'm actually reading currently, and that is Stephen King's The Outsider. I know you can't tell because of the dust jackets back there on the shelf, but Stephen King's The Outsider. This book is his newest novel, which is a crime drama / crime thriller, and it involves the brutal murder of I think 9-year-old or 10-year-old boy who was found in the woods with his body mutilated. I'm not going to get into the details of that because it is very graphic and it almost made me queasy, which is like a first for Stephen King. Like, I love horror and I love messed up horror stuff, but that was it was very, very disgusting, and I am loving this book so far. It is probably one of his best well-written novels to date. I think that while Stephen King has a really good personality and kind of shines through with the horror, when he writes his crime drama and crime thriller novels, it just like elevates him to like a whole new level, and I absolutely love it when he writes that. And I'm going through this one very kind of slowly, and just kind of, you'll probably be able to see here, but I'm tabbing through. Right now I currently have one purple one, which is for like a passage or sayings that I liked, and then the rest are just kind of like funny moments that I want to remember, and or references or what I thought was references. But yeah, I'm really, really loving this book so far, and I plan on doing a full review on it after I'm done with reading it, but it's going to take me probably a little longer because I'm kind of in a slightly slumpy reading mood, a slower reading mood than I usually am, so I want to kind of take my time with it, enjoy it. But I'm absolutely loving it, and if you have been wanting to pick this book up or thinking about picking this book up, it is an absolute amazing, amazing novel. So in honor of the movie coming out this month and the fact that I really want to reread it and tab it up and kind of like have it highlighted of all my favorite passages, I'm going to reread Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This book is about 16-year-old Simon Spear, who is having a kind of like online relationship of sorts with Blue, and they're kind of emailing back and forth, and they both go to the same school, but they don't know each other's identity. And then Simon one day accidentally leaves his email open in the public library, and one of his quote-unquote friends, are kind of like someone he knows, ends up then blackmailing him into setting him up with one of his Simon's best friends, because the blackmailer is kind of like in love with the Simon's best friend, and it kind of just goes from there. And it's a very emotional and touching novel, and I can't wait to see the movie. But so I want to get this read, and before I watch it, I'll probably end up watching the movie because like I almost bought the digital version because I wanted to watch it so bad, but I was like, no, I'm gonna wait to get the DVD, gonna wait to get the best DVD they have out there, like all the features and stuff like that of it, because it is absolutely amazing, amazing book. And I didn't put the sequel, which you can see that blue kind of thing right there, I didn't put Lee on the Offbeat on my TBR this month, just because I want to really focus on this one, get the story back into it, and I'll probably put that one on my TBR for next month. But yeah, I want to read this one, and I'm going to tab it up and probably go through with a highlighter after I'm done, highlight all the passages that I really like, because it's, my favorite novel. It's probably not my favorite novel, but it's probably like in my top 5. It's probably like tied for like number 2 probably on my favorite novels. So I've kind of gone back and forth on what the next novel I want to put on my TBR for the month. I want to read a fantasy novel, and I want to read Children of Blood and Bone, but I really want to kind of get through some of my other fantasies that I have first. So what I ended up doing was picking out a fantasy series that I really want to read, and it's summertime, and it's coming up to June is the first month of summer, so I figure there's 3 books in this series. I can read one each month until it's done, and that is the Night Angel trilogy by Brent Weeks. I have been wanting to read the series for a while. I started the first book a while ago, and then when I moved, I ended up losing my copy of the book somewhere. I don't know if I left it behind, if it just fell out of my bag or something like that. I don't know what happened to it. So I've been eyeing up this series for a long time, so like I'm really, really interested in starting and getting back up to it. This is about Dorzo Blint, who's an assassin, and he ends up, I believe from my remembering, accepting an apprentice. The first book in this trilogy is The Way of Shadows, in this the Night Angel trilogy, and I don't remember much about it, and there's nothing really on the back of this book to give me a refresher, but it's the whole trilogy, so I figure if I really end up enjoying the first one, I'll continue on with the third book over the next few months, because I really want to get to his, I don't know the series of them, but the first book is the Black Prism book. I don't remember the name of the series, but I've heard nothing but good things about that book, so I really want to finally start reading the Night Angel trilogy. So on to the one manga that I own, and the one I want to read this month, and that is Death Note Volume 1 of the Black Edition, which is Volume 1 and 2 of the Death Note series. I really want to experience this series and to read it, so I want to add this one to my TBR, and I read graphic novels and manga like pretty fast. Like I probably read like this first volume in probably like one sitting, so this would be like a 1-2 sitting read for me if I really end up enjoying it. So I will definitely be reading this one this month because I want to finally experience the Death Note series, and I want to see if I want to continue on, because I figure if I like this one, I'll continue purchasing like one a month or one every other month or something like that to like finish up the whole series, because there's only 6 editions of the Black Edition of the Death Notes, and since I have this one in this version, I'm going to collect them all in this same version. So I'm really excited about reading this one and experiencing the manga for the first time. So some of the manga / graphic novels I want to read from the library, I have 3, one I'm currently reading, and then 2 I want to pick up afterwards. And the first one that I'm currently reading is Battle Angel Alita Last Order Omnibus Volume 2. This is continuing on the story. This series is actually like a it's not like a regular manga series that comes out in like volumes like the Death Note series. This one was kind of in like a monthly manga magazine, so the issues or the phases as they're called in the series are very short. They're probably between like 30 to 40 pages, so it makes the series move a lot faster. Although I have to say this one is slowing down a bit. It kind of went from the first book like really explaining the backstory and explained what happened in the first story arc, which I didn't read, so I was very appreciative of that. It went to this one where it's very slow and it's kind of developing its own story, where the first book kind of was almost like a good recap of the first series while introducing the story and the characters again. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. It's just I hope it picks up a little bit more of the pacing, because the story and the writing is amazing so far. Next book I picked up, I didn't really read the synopsis of it. It just looked like it would be a cute, fun story, so I picked up Spinning by Tilly Walden. This book is just, I think, about a girl who wanted to go to ballerina classes or be a ballerina, something like that. But I liked the art style in here, which is like, it all is kind of like told like purple / yellow hues to it, so I wanted to read this one, see how it was. My mom actually seen this one from the library bag, and she's like, I want to read this, and took it from the bag before I could read it, so she read it, said it was cute, kind of weird, kind of awkward, but like awkward in like a good way type of thing. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one, and there's not much text on each page really, so it's like I probably will go through and read this one probably like 1 to 2 sittings. So I like to have the mangas and graphic novels on hand because they are very fast reads. So if I feel like I'm getting into like a slumpish mood, or in a mood where I'm like I want to read but I don't want to read a novel, then the graphic novels and mangas are the perfect thing for that. So the next book, or the last one on the list, is a graphic novel, and that is Graphic Classics, Edgar Allan Poe. This is just a graphic novel collection of many different Edgar Allan Poe novels. And they're in different art styles. You have like kind of like cartoony art styles, and then you have like more ultra cartoony styles, like kind of like the old kind of retro classic style of the graphic novels. Then you have more like serious tone, so it's a different illustrator for every single story, and obviously it's the Edgar Allan Poe story, so Edgar Allan Poe is the writer of every single story. So I'm interested in seeing how this is, because I'm a huge fan of Edgar Allan Poe, and I think Edgar Allan Poe is like the best writer. He's like one of my all-time favorites, and I've read every single thing he's done. I loved every single thing he's done. So I'm really excited to read this one and to experience the the stories again with other people's artworks that are inspired by the stories. So that is it for my monthly TBR for the month of June. If you have any opinions on the books, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, positive or negative. I'd love to hear from you, just please no spoilers. And until next time, hope you have an amazing day, evening, night, wherever in the world. I'll see you guys in my next video.